scientists for joining us on a Saturday and helping us to guide these observations.
Yeah, 7-7.
Just to give you a heads up, so we do have another 3+ hours on this dive. Current depth is 1,645 meters. We're still about 40 meters from the summit.
Anything else you want there, video?
I think we've got this one.
Okay.
So yeah, this is kind of the community we've seen throughout this dive. This is a nice kind of summary in this very image here. So we see a couple of those kind of more massive sponges, and that's in the genus Polyopagon. We see this couple of these corals to our left with that plume. Those are Metallogorgias. And then you see a lot of these wires in between that are almost indistinguishable unless you zoom because they're so wispy. There's yellowish wisps, and those are black corals in genus Stichopathes. And and then there's also a crinoid on one of the sponges. It's kind of, this is what we've kind of seen consistently throughout this dive.
Yeah, but you can see how I should drive ahead here till maybe he's lined up, because right now he's not necessarily centered over the ridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just see. If I go this way, he can follow me.
Yeah, I'm just going to track you until we're at the right heading.
But we might have to shift Sirius over a bit.
This coral here to our left is another black coral, and it's going to be in the genus Trichopathes.
So far, so good. You could come down maybe 5 meters. Yeah.
So this massive sponge in front of us is a Polyopagon. It's a glass sponge, and that genus is characterized at the base. It has these modified skeletal elements that kind of are hook-shaped, and that it uses them to attach to the substrate. A lot of times, you see several brittle stars or ophiuroids, and you can see 2 at the bottom of it, as well as several on the sponge itself.
Whenever you'd like.
Very common to see these brittle stars.
Brittle stars at the bottom.
Using the sponge as shelter. And as we're zooming in here,
a bunch of brittle stars
so sponges are
we're looking at. I see the tentacles lining.
Oh yeah, I see
characterized by they're kind of spongy form. So they're multicellular animals.
They
have porous
the sponges,
kind of tissues.
So
they do not have any organs or tissue layers. So some of the simplest animals there are.
Turn your heading more towards me, and then just
one interesting thing about sponges is they have these specialized cells called Okeanos that they use to pump water throughout their body, and that's the way they can feed by kind of guiding the currents throughout their sponges tissues.
So you're on top of me.
And also interesting is that all of their cells are what's called totipotent, so that they can assume any other cell form. So the particular cell is needed, they can regenerate it. Yeah, and that's a nice look at the base there, and you can see that they have these kind of like hook-shaped fibers there that they use to permanently anchor onto the substrate. So this entire group here of sponges in this genus.
I'm going for the base of the sponge.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Mechanism.
There you go.
This is the bridge.
That is part of the family, the Pheronematidae. So that characteristic there of that family is that those attachments like that to the hard substrates. In the foreground, we see a couple of ophiuroids. and those are going to be in the subgroup of the Ophiocantidae. And that's you can see that the arms itself have these tiny hairs coming from them. So that is a characteristic of that subgroup, the Ophiocantidae.
Pilot, I put in a 20-meter move to put Sirius over you.
Very good.
Come out a little bit more, and I'll do it one more time.
Yeah, another few things about sponges. So they're, as I mentioned, some of the simplest animals. A lot of these also produce complex compounds. And this is something you see a lot when you have animals like this that are massive. And
yes,
they produce defenses to avoid being eaten. And so in sponges in particular, you have that a lot. Well, you have first mechanical defense. So in this particular sponge, the fibers of that sponge, so the skeletal elements are all pointy and kind of preventing, kind of providing defense that way. And a lot of other sponges, they also produce different secondary metabolites, so different chemicals to kind of have a chemical way of protecting themselves. Yeah, and this whole group is called the glass sponges because of this kind of prickly nature they have. All those skeletal elements, if you would take a look at them under a microscope, they're composed out of siliceous, and they're siliceous in nature, and then they have these kind of tiny, they're either 4-pointed or 6-pointed building blocks that are all latticed together in this complex framework. So there's a request after we're done with this to zoom on, I think a yellow animal ahead.
I think we have this.
All right.
After we're done imaging, I didn't get a glimpse at it.
Yellow animal.
We're full wide all cameras.
Yeah, watch lead if you want to guide me to this yellow animal.
Yeah, I think it's behind it.
Okay.
So maybe 2 suggesting left of sponge, center screen, maybe where that sediment is.
Oh, there's 3 kind of yellow, spongy looking things over there, yeah.
There's a worm water column.
Yeah, one of
yeah, that's cool.
And there's something swimming towards us. That might be a polychaete.
Let's get this polychaete video. Can you zoom?
Zooming, holding.
Oh, it's going the wrong way. Here it comes.
A little more push.
Yeah, keeps getting farther. Okay.
So yeah, that's a segmented worm or polychaete.
Okay, tilting down.
So they're named after, or also called bristle worms. And actually, polychaete means many chaetes, and the chaete are actually those those bristles that they have to the side. So it's a very species-rich group, over 10,000 species of brittle worms.
In the center now. Let's try that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
just
yes, exactly. Yeah.
No.
I don't know what we're looking at.
I think that's it.
How long ago was the move called in?
Well,
4 minutes ago. So it should
Yeah,
be
so there's that one and one in the background, but I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Yeah, you should start feeling it.
so is it?
I mean, I'll go all the way in on
Yes.
this.
Not already.
That looks like dead something.
Yeah. Watch lead. This isn't what the interest was, is it?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
One of our shore-based scientists had noted it.
Move complete.
Yeah.
Looks like there's an ophroid underneath that ledge.
It looks
Yeah.
like under that rock there's another black coral attached.
Okay.
That's full zoom.
Yeah, so Yeah, it looks like a glass sponge, but excellent. Thank you. Yeah,
You're
good
welcome.
spot there, Tina.
Okay, we can go wide video.
Full wide.
And I will
There you go.
get up and over this sponge and move on.
There's an enormous unbranched bamboo coral. We've seen a few of these that, if you look at the serious overhead image, almost as tall, if not taller than the vehicle. The vehicle is just about 10 feet height and elevation, so yeah, this looks like it's as tall as we are with a Deep Discoverer. And yeah, another, you can see there the substrate again, and how thick that manganese crust is. Very different than what we've seen on the last couple of dives.
Video, I'll do a float by this crinoid if you want to zoom in.
Coming in.
Okay, hold
and
there.
Holding.
Okay, you can zoom more.
So
Nice float.
I think it's an unstocked crinoid that has now taken life on a stock. So I think, yeah, that's another one of those Glyptometras. But I think the stock is something
let it
dead
go off.
that is now overgrowing. It's now, yeah, used as substrate because we see a lot of hydroids that Tina had also pointed out, and it looks like it's heavily fouled, suggesting that that stock is actually something else that's now dead and been
Okay.
overgrown.
And
Coming out.
thank you, video.
So yeah, just interesting because there's actually stocked crinoids, and but that one I think it was an unstocked that just has taken residence on a old stock. Actually, there's one right in. Are we on the move? There's one right
No, okay.
bottom of the screen. Another crinoid.
Gotcha. Coming back down. Is it that one on the stock?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that a new one?
I think so. I believe this is going to be.
One brittle star just bailed on that.
And there's a.
Feeling good, co-pilot?
Yep.
Nice.
And pilot and nav, I think I'm not moving anymore, so I think that move is settled out.
Copy that.
Oh yeah, no, that's actually, yeah. If we can take a look just at the
Sure.
top.
Okay, video.
Coming in. Holding.
Yeah, it looks like that's the same. And well, yeah. So you have many things right there. So you have a crinoid, you have several hydroids, and then you have barnacles there, and gooseneck barnacles, Scalpelidae, all those tiny white things, and you can see actually the feet protruding. So those from those white kind of objects that you see all over it, those are barnacles,
Okay,
and
one more.
Sure.
barnacles. Yeah, you can see the feet hanging out. So those are the feeding appendages, so barnacle. The scientific name is Cirripedia, which literally means curled feet. And barnacles use these feet that are protruding out to capture. And actually, we just saw towards the right of the screen, you saw one capturing a piece of food with this stunning imagery. So barnacles, if you will, you can think of them as kind of being upside down. They're attached to the substrate with their forehead, and then they use their feet to feed.
We have a lot of zoom.
And yeah, so these are going to be in the group Scalpelidae. They're actually attached to hydroids. So the top there, kind of golden-looking part is a hydroid, and then we have a whole bunch of barnacles on it, crinoid in the back, and yeah, so we have a tiny little ecosystem right here of all kinds of different groups together.
Yeah, just a little rock crumbled or something under me. Coming back around. There we go.
Pushing the focus back.
Hi, Daniel. It's Scott France.
Hey, Scott.
If there's time, if we're not on the move and following
Okay, do we want the
close-ups
base of this or any other
community
aspect
here,
of it?
can we have a close look at the bamboo coral that is behind and center?
Let's just hold
Kind of
here
like
and
a
ask
whip
watch
with
lead.
several branches.
Roger.
Yeah, copy that, Scott. Yeah, and I did see your comment here in the chat room. Yeah, as soon as we're done imaging, we will take a look at that bamboo in the back. Yeah, and thanks for reminding
let's go
us.
wide video.
Wide eye.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, watch lead. What
Yeah.
would you like next?
So right behind it, there's that
Let's do
branched bamboo coral next to that enormous anemone. So there's
Got it. That's a large bamboo coral.
yeah.
So as we zoom in on this, Daniel, one of the reasons I'm interested in, we were seeing some of these last year, and earlier in this dive, we've seen many of these very tall, unbranched whip-like bamboo corals, I think that we've been referring to as the genus Lepidisis. And these ones are interesting because you see it looks like a whip that has put out separate whips from it, the branches. And one of the questions is whether this is truly a branching colony, which it does appear to be, or whether these are independent settlement events on the whip. And so I'm trying to get a good look at where that branch is coming out, those three branches that are rising almost perpendicular to the main axis.
Yeah, so we'll take a quick look. Yeah,
Capture
thanks,
this
Scott.
scene for a minute.
Yeah, beautiful scene. And yeah, we'll take a look for you, Scott, in particular where those branches are coming off. But so this enormous anemone.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say the other thing is when we get close up and we can see the polyps, then we can compare what the polyps of these look like
video,
compared to the polyps
You
on the whip.
done with this scene?
So
Roger.
I'll stand by.
Some
Yeah.
dust moving into.
Yeah, we'll take a good look for you. And thanks, Scott, for.
Okay, I believe that they want the intersection here.
Yeah, exactly right there.
Branches. So if you want to start going in video,
Coming in.
fine tune the position.
Well, pretty good guess.
And it just closed its polyps.
I can come in more.
And then
Yeah, when you're done with the
So
shot,
this is a
just
very
going all
nice
the
view.
way.
You can see the polyps are quite crowded together. There's a lot of polyps. They're tall and skinny. The tentacles have been balled up. It's almost like
Coming in.
balling up of
Okay.
your fist, pulling your fingers in towards the fist. And I'm not seeing much in the way of sclerites down the body of the polyp, that is the trunk that attaches it to the skeleton. And you can see that the main tissue is very transparent, so you can see the skeleton through the tissue.
Yeah, I agree, Scott. So on a couple of, you can see individual sclerites kind of in the middle of the body, but yeah, I agree. You do not see them close to the attachment point.
But now that I've got this closer image, I do see for certain there are some needle or what we call rod-like sclerites. They're almost horizontal or transversely arranged.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing the strong needles between the tentacles, which is one of the things that we often look at. It is interesting that all the tentacles are retracted here. I wonder what's disturbed it.
yeah.
And that's a terrific view
We want
of
to get
the
another one of
connection
these?
point. So thank you
Junction
very much
points.
to ROV
Sure.
pilots and the camera crew
No,
out
it's
there.
Come out
You're
partial,
doing a great
move
job.
over.
I think there's one
I'm
on
really
either
happy to
side.
see that the video
let's
is
go.
stabilized a lot as
To
the
the left
dive is going on.
would be easier to image.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the background there again, Roland has spotted another one of these solitary hydroids, the Corimorphidae.
Coming in a little bit.
Okay. Working
Yeah.
over
If
slowly.
possible, can we zoom in to where you see the two branches coming up here together? No, yeah.
Coming right up there, yeah. Thanks,
Full
Scott.
zoom
Okay.
and focus.
It's kind of hard to see what's going on there.
Yeah.
Fortunately, my view's pixelated right now, but I'll be certain to download the video clips.
But yeah, and so Scott, it looks like there's one branch coming off, and then of that branch, there's another one coming right off of it.
Yeah, interesting.
So it doesn't look like a double. Yeah, it's not a triple branch point, but it's two successive ones. If that makes sense.
Yep, absolutely makes sense.
Okay. When you're done video,
So yeah, this is
Go partial.
interesting. I'm going to confer
Just
with
zoom
Les
on that anemone
on
'cause it's
what
so
he thinks
large.
about this.
Coming out.
This may be a different species to things that we've seen in the past. You know, it's clearly, it appears when it's first growing that it is
So
this
we'll
whip,
also
and only
get,
later puts out
lasers on the coral
branches,
here.
so it doesn't appear to be branching, you know, from the base. So
Oh,
if
they're
you
on
saw
there.
this at a very young age, you wouldn't see the branches,
do the
so
base,
you
that's
would
a good one.
mistake it for a whip-like coral. And that's what's so interesting
Okay,
about it.
lasers on the
But
rocks at the
thanks a lot.
base.
That was great imagery.
Yeah, and then thanks for calling in, Scott. So yeah, to our left, that's one of the most, the largest anemones we have here on these deep reefs. Very conspicuous. This particular form we have in both orange or
Yeah,
more
hold here for
browner
lasers.
colorations, and that's going to be in the genus Exosalactus. And you can, besides its large size and kind of bright coloration,
Okay,
you can
video,
also
freeze
see
it.
the tips of the
Roger,
tentacles, so
coming
it'd
in.
have those kind of rounded tips.
Go all the way and get
And,
focus here
Sure.
first.
Beautiful imagery, and a lot of times there's little polychaetes or polynoid scaleworm polychaetes kind of hanging out on top of them. And yeah, absolutely spectacular imagery. And
Once you have that shot video, you can do a couple more. Maybe the whole front top disc.
Roger. Just looked like I had a little bit of focus strobing there. Coming out a little bit.
yeah, those are very beautiful
Yeah.
and conspicuous
There we go.
animals. And one thing that is kind of a fun fact about anemones, for those folks who have, they're common animals in the aquarium trade. So for folks that actually maintain home aquaria, you probably know that anemones can actually
Okay, I'm happy
detach
video
and
whenever you
move
are.
over short
Yeah.
distances. So they are not permanently glued to the substrate. They can actually detach if they need to, and then reattach in another location.
Okay, co-pilot, so I'm thinking now that you're above me, I'll be able to head up the slope and you'll be able to follow me around. We can get lined up.
Copy that. So I should match your heading.
No, just keep me in view, and it should end up matching, I think.
Copy.
I mean, we think the ridge roughly goes northeast, so.
Yeah, now it looks about 6-0. Seems to be local high.
Yeah, doesn't really look like a clear picture on my sonar.
Yeah.
I'm kind of high up though.
Yeah, we are getting towards the top flatter part of this, I think.
All right, so I'm going to swing around to keep you in view, pilot.
Yeah, it does seem like, 5-0 or so is the right heading.
Should I put in just a 30-meter move?
Let's get lined up first. You can start to see it in Sirius sonar.
Yeah, I just dropped down a couple meters.
Okay. Yeah, so what does it look like if you come over to 5-0?
Coming over to 5-0. Yeah, looks like a nice,
Yeah.
stronger return. Maybe
Okay.
a little bit more than 5-0, like 5-5 or 6-0.
So I think we want to move Sirius still a little more east to get over me. And
Copy.
also, so maybe we can move Sirius like, 070 or 08
Yeah.
for 20 or 30 meters.
Okay, I'll
Hopefully
do that.
hopefully that'll be along our direction and center Sirius more up on the slope.
Yeah, so how about 30 meters?
So I was
Sounds
just, yeah, and I did follow a discussion here about sampling. We're currently in the process of setting up another move.
075.
Okay.
This is Bridge, go ahead.
And
Hi, can I get a ship move of 30 meters and 075?
so we'll keep our eyes open, but we are right in the process of a move.
30 meters, 075 degrees, 0.2 knots.
And we did also just update our position where we, just to give you a feel for, so we landed at about 1,750 meters, and that was on the ridge crest itself. And over the course of the dive, we moved close to 400 meters, and we're still just about 30 meters in vertical elevation left to the summit. And that summit is still about 150 meters away in horizontal distance to cover. And
Nav Bridge, move initiated.
so again, to update you on the dive, so we are going to be kind of kicking off the bottom around 3:30 local time, Hawaii time. So that would give us approximately 2 hours and 45 minutes remaining on this dive.
All right, well, you'll be caught up to me soon. Watch lead pilot.
Go ahead, pilot.
We're just, Sirius is on the move. Just have a minute to wait around here. Is there anything you're interested in?
I guess maybe like the crinoid center of screen there, center bottom left, brownish object.
Yeah. Is that a sponge or?
Yeah, it looked like a crinoid. Yeah, we'll just take a look. I don't recognize it. Yeah, so just to update our shore-based scientists, we're on the move, and
that's another one of those.
Yeah.
There, on the right side, there's
yeah, the one on the right is also unusual. Looks like an anemone with some very long tentacles.
Video, I'll set up that anemone.
Full wide.
Okay, it's kind of down in a crack there. Okay, free to zoom.
Yeah, coming in. View.
Yeah, so it's an anemone, and we did image something somewhat similar to that last year. But right now it's only as unidentified anemone.
So the name of this is Unidentified Anemone?
Yep.
They're Latin.
Yeah, they're a very tough group. One that the characters that used to differentiate this, a lot of it is on the internal structure. So you really need the specimen to kind of differentiate a lot of these groups. And then, so you need the specimen, and getting the specimen is difficult. So a lot of these are extremely fragile and difficult to get.
Dan, what's that tubular construction of sediment that's wrapping around that rock in the upper left-hand corner?
So I believe that is the tube worm of a polychaete worm. So
I'd say I'm moving now.
We have that.
Yeah, it looks like that on high pack tail.
So yeah,
go wide.
A lot of polychaetes do this. That they cement together mucus as well as elements from their surroundings, sediment and other elements, to make these kind of tubes.
Yeah, I think we're centering up well, Nav. If you want to tack another, or when that move is just done, tack another, 30 meters at to the northeast.
Right here to the bottom is another one of these metallic gorges. Also pretty common here, and yeah, we see how common these wire corals are, and that's kind of interesting structure there in the back. These kind of parallel.
Yep. Yeah, I was just about to mention that. I'm going to go out on a limb and actually call out the first geological lava flow structure that I think I've seen on this dive today. I think this is one sheet flow that has actually erupted over the ridge, so you can see that that tabular type of structure on the surface, and you see that it's kind of draping over both sides. The cracks seem to more or less fit back together as if they were jigsaw puzzle pieces, so that tells me at least that one time that this was actually all continuous and connected together. So as we go over this structure, maybe we can get some views into the internal layers along the sides under these cracks. We saw something like this last time on it was on the ridge north of Morrow, where I actually was hypothesizing that the ridge was an erosional feature rather than a constructive feature, and so this is kind of the same similar type of lava flow morphology that we observed there, where the sheet flow has draped itself over the top of the ridge. Yeah, so those are
Hey, Copilot, can you center
beautiful
the,
images. So
center
somewhat
maybe turn
some sheet flow laminations. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is one continuous sheet flow that had erupted and draped itself over each side of the ridge as well as along the ridge crest and is now being separated due to gravitational slumping.
How's that?
One swinging to the left.
I think that's good. Let's come out and try to get some of the stripes up above here. I guess just
Like
hold
there?
there. Yeah, just hold there.
Roger.
Is there what's that animal to the back there? Is that a sea star?
It's like a sea star, yeah.
Yeah, let's, if we're set up to get our close up.
I don't know if anyone noticed when I sat down, the piece of the sheet I sat down on was actually totally loose.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, they're all... I mean, it's gigantic.
Oh, it's gigantic.
Yeah.
So
A little high now.
Yeah,
requesting a sample is just not going to work.
7040.
Oh, it might. I just mean
Yep.
Okay, I'll put in
these are not
30
like
meter
bonded
vivid
to
40.
the...
Does that sound good?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's going to be the Caliaster, and that's one more common
This is the bridge. Go ahead.
predators of bamboo corals at these depths.
At 040 degrees at 0.2 knots.
30 meters.
Okay, video.
040
Coming in.
0 degrees. 0.
Yeah, that's a
2
good
knots.
spot. So yeah, that's
Coming up.
exactly what it is. So that's going to be in the genus
pulls in.
Caliaster,
Full zoom.
and
Okay.
they are common predators of bamboo corals. And so that sea star is in the family Goniasteridae. And absolutely beautiful image.
All right, whenever you're
Yeah, I think
clear
we
video.
have that
Okay.
coming out.
What?
Nav bridge. Move
And
initiated.
this
Alright.
genus is
Good to
kind
go
of
out.
characterized that on the arms, the center of the arm will be smooth, while the edges of that will have those kind of spiky protrusions.
Pilot, I put in a
Oh, I
30 meter move at 040.
But a lot of times when we see these animals, they're actually feeding.
This is pretty cool terrain.
Yeah.
This is very cool terrain, and so I was mentioning how some of these pieces fit together and their edges come together well. There are some fractures that are more recently formed between some of the pieces, like the one that's in the left quarter panel right now, where you can see that it actually does fit together and it hasn't separated to the degree that some of these other pieces have. Also indicating that this was at one time one contiguous lava flow, sheet flow, to be more specific. Looks like there might be some loose debris in between some of these sheets up here on the right center.
Yeah, you interested in a sample of this stuff?
I think I might be, yes.
Okay. We should probably stop that ship move then.
Copy that.
This is the bridge. Go ahead.
Jonathan, where are we on the dive with respect to
Roger.
the
Coming up.
ridge that we started on versus that left
Should we
turn
stop?
going up towards the summit?
Thanks, Nav.
We'll get you an updated position here in a second, Scott.
So we haven't yet gotten to that peak, Scott. We're probably, there's still ridge light contour lines for another 40 to 60 meters up before they start to become more rounded out, and looks like we're going to be
Yes,
gaining
please.
the summit and about 40 meters of vertical meter travel, and then horizontally Daniel's currently plotting up our positions, so we'll stand by.
Just almost all the way to the top is good.
Pilot, this is Watch 2.
Go ahead.
Are you thinking about looking at these right below your lasers right
Thinking
now?
about
Or
that one, it's about 15 centimeters.
okay. I was hoping to find something as thick as possible, just so we can rule out any significant manganese crusts on it. It's going to be hard too, but I think there was also, if some of these aren't very thick, there was there was a little bit of a pile up and to our right as well.
Okay.
That
Go
might
check
be,
that out.
yeah, it might be have a better selection of samples. And then there's also, if you want to zoom,
Yeah.
Never mind.
Oh.
sorry, before you left, I just saw something interesting. Biologically, there seems
I
to be
see
something wiggling down in this
Bottom center in
this
the crevice.
hole and crevice.
Hold where you are.
Yeah.
So
Camera
it
down.
was bottom right quarter panel coming
Oh, I
into
see
right
it,
center.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
Look
saw
at
some
that
motion.
first.
Maybe looked very interesting.
Okay, video if you want to.
Caught
Yeah, if you want to
Roland's
go in.
eye.
Laser coming in
Yeah.
now. Holding.
It's just something wiggling in my current.
Seems to have a regular period, and it's weird.
That's a barnacle feeding, perhaps.
It's like we see its shadow or something.
Yeah.
I'll have to
If
come.
you came over.
Yeah, I'll have to come around. Okay, if you go wide video,
Yeah,
I'll
coming out.
spin
It
around.
definitely looks like something's ventilating there. So Scott, we're about 360 meters away from our landing spot, so we kind of landed dead center of the
Give it a try here.
ridge crest, and we just
Heading
moved
down or
along
going?
that
Yeah,
ridge
you can go
crest. We are 360
Heading down
meters
slow.
away from it, about 100 meters shallower.
No, it's,
And we're
you have to
still
come
about-
starboard more.
Okay.
It's on that lower rock down inside there.
150 meters away from the top.
Yeah, see, it's pulsing
Yeah,
at
from
the
the
top.
summit.
There's a one arm sticking up. Keep coming starboard. Almost there.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Thanks, Daniel. So I'm just not sure the term
Okay.
we're using for summit here. So if I'm picturing
Yeah, I see
the
it
dive
there.
plan, there was a ridge, I think, coming up
Weird.
from the southwest, more or less,
Yeah, so
and it connected to another ridge, and we were talking
Is it
about
a
them moving
is
up
it a
towards
jelly
the
that's trapped in there? or
northwest.
so
I
yeah,
wonder if we've made
Oh.
that turn, or are we still on the original ridge?
we're still on the original ridge. So yeah, we're about 150
Great.
meters away from doing the turn. Yeah, with
That
summit, I
folds
mean,
in?
kind of like the shallowest portion of the dive.
Okay.
So once
I'll hold
we're
there
approached that, so yeah, this is a jellyfish. Once we get onto the top,
then. All right, we'll hold it. till you're free
the
video.
shallowest portion of this
gonna take them a long
seamount
time to
is
move
kind
that
of
around.
like elongate. And there's a couple like
Centuries.
flat areas on top of it. So yeah, we're about 150 meters
All right, I'm
away
good
from
if,
doing our
what
turn.
speed is.
Yeah,
If
he
you are.
identified
Copy
it.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Roger,
What?
coming out.
Let's try and find that pile of rocks now. Definitely was up and to our right somewhere.
Up and to our right.
Yes.
We did pick up quite a large rock in the morning, so
And,
Keep this one small.
yeah.
Copy that.
and also, Scott, so yeah, we're now looking directly north
First rock is in your start.
and still looking up
Okay.
this ridge.
So there seems to be some kind of like depression and collapse feature that's on the right of the screen. I think that was the area that I was targeting before. But there, to go for size, there seems to be some 20 centimeter-ish samples in the center of the screen, or we could might be something in the bottom
Maybe a
center or
partial
something.
if you want.
Got the lasers on.
Yeah, so that one the laser's on currently
It's
looks
about
about
20.
20.
Try for that one.
Too big.
Now, Copa.
Go ahead, Copilot.
Yeah,
The
so
stove for the drawer in the boxes is port and starboard bio retract and drawer close. Is that right?
I'm sorry, say that again?
So the stow for the boxes
Yes.
to account for the, the leakage is the port and starboard bio pins. You retract them and then you close the drawer. Is that right?
Yeah, so what you can
Hey,
do...
B. Boston, are you on the
retract,
teleconference
close
line?
door, and then you can extend, depending on if you want to open the lid, have the lid...
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hey, how's it going? What do you think about some of these samples?
The lid's closed.
Copy.
I can't get a good scale on them, but I think they're probably a good sample to pick.
So the one we got earlier, I don't know if you saw, was pretty good size. So I'm confident that that one's going to contain some pretty good volcanic material within that heavy manganese crust and alteration rim anyway. So what we're looking at right now, I think, are these really weird laminated sheet flows. Might be a really neat sample to get. So there's one that's directly on the lasers, approximately 20 centimeters in diameter, that we're thinking about collecting. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think these are pretty different from what we've been seeing today, at least.
Yeah.
So, for it.
All right. Copy that, Brian. So, Pilot, I think this one will be a very interesting sample to collect, just based on the fact that it's completely different type of lava flow than we saw before, and we actually have a pretty good idea of where it's coming from, given that this sheet flow is surrounding it, shares the same morphology. So this is another great sample.
All right, we'll go for it. Okay, co-pilot, if you could bring the mini Zeus around to the craft.
So for anybody that's just tuning in, we're setting up to collect our second geological sample, and this is quite a stunning sample, simply because if you were following us on the rest of the dive previously, we have not seen any intact lava flows, and this is the first time that we've actually observed an actual primary texture on a lava flow. It still has a heavy manganese crust that's coating all of these rocks and lava flows. However, we're making a collection that is much different from the one that we made earlier, in that we can be almost 100% confident, and we know where this is coming from as far as which lava flow it's coming from. So keep in mind that the seamount that we're diving on currently has never been absolutely dated. However, there is some suspicion that it is Cretaceous in age, about 80 to 85 million years old. And so we're looking at a lava flow that has been sitting on the surface of this seamount for approximately 80 million years undisturbed. And some of the cracked features that we've been seeing are due to it slowly breaking apart and succumbing to the forces of gravity and transporting big blocks down the slopes. So we're currently diving on the southeastern ridge of an unnamed seamount that is southwest of another seamount called Bank 9. The closest landmass is Perlin Hermes Reef. It is approximately about maybe 100 miles to our northwest. We're within the Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument along the Greater Hawaiian Archipelago, about 1,165 miles from Honolulu, at a depth of 1,636 meters.
Okay, do we want to get some video of this guy?
Do you want me to adjust the mini?
Actually, if you adjust the main Zeus,
Copy.
just tilt it up. Okay, video if you want to zoom.
Coming in.
So watch 2, is this still looking like a good rock?
Hey, but it's hard to tell based on how thin it is, but I don't think we're going to find anything much thicker. It seems like these laminations within the sheet flow seem to be a constant thickness
You
of
might want to rotate the other
about
way.
that.
Okay.
I don't know. V-Boss,
out,
are you still on
okay.
the line?
You good?
I've got it.
Thank you, video.
Pull wide.
Yeah, I'm still here.
What do you think? Do you think that's mostly manganese crust, or do you think there's going to be some volcanic material inside of that? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it looks like that's what most of the tabular flows are, the thickness of the flows are at least. So I don't know
Yeah, let's
if
go.
there's too much out of it.
We're going to go ahead and collect it just because we got a lot of material before, and this one is of interest just because we know exactly where it came from and the source lava flow that it was out of. So this will be a neat collection.
Yeah, let's hope for the best.
Okay, copy that, Brian. Hope you're having a good time. It's nice to hear another geologist on the line.
We gotta stay together.
Okay, can you follow me around with Mini Zeus to Stowe?
Copy. Tilting up.
Great. That was another awesome job done by our ROV pilots, collecting our second geological sample from this suspicious Cretaceous age seamount. These rocks will be valuable to geologists trying to date this feature.
Copy. So I'm gonna pull the mini
This sample is actually
Okay.
very interesting since we know where this sample came from. It's coming from this laminated sheet flow, lava flow that's draping this ridge that we've been ascending for the past couple hours on our dive. Everything that we've seen up until now has just been erosional, rubbly debris or completely cemented boulders of manganese. So this is a very exciting collection in that we have more information about where it came from.
Disable impact.
Yep, pilot. So on this radar, I don't see a whole lot to go on. Looks like we might have been a small peak.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Would you like to just do a short move towards?
Yeah, I'll take a look around.
If we have a second in the area, there's a
We do.
quick request to zoom in on those white animals, kind of small animals on top, just straight ahead, like smaller
Okay. we can do
features
that
on the
right
rock.
here.
Yeah.
Video, could you zoom straight ahead?
Yeah, and they look like solitary cup corals, and that's exactly what they are. Good find there. So I believe the closest idea we have, these are Caryophilia, and I believe the one that we have here is the Caryophilia atlantica. So those are the first scleractinian corals of this dive. These are cup corals.
Is that okay there, pilot?
Yeah, I was just watch lead. You happy with that?
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you can go wide video.
That's a nice spot there. Yeah, thank you, Asako, for pointing it out.
That's full wide.
Very good.
And
All right. So general uphill is 0.45, but we might be at a local high here.
so now as we're turning, we're just past true north, so we're now looking slightly to the northeast. There's a shrimp there in the water column. And, so right, we're heading about 30 degrees east.
What do you think, co-pilot? Another move?
So we see
30
here
meters, 0.45.
again how abundant these wire corals are throughout this site. And then, yeah, we also oftentimes see these chrysogorgias, metallogorgia. Not a very diverse community. We've imaged on this particular dive, but in some places, nice. We do see some moderate to higher density.
Angular should move 30 meters at 0.45 degrees at 0.2 knots.
30 meters, 0.45 degrees, 0.2 knots.
Good copy.
Coming up.
Do want to welcome perhaps some of our visitors that might be seeing this on some of the public displays, perhaps at the Maui Ocean Center or the Waikiki Aquarium. Welcome. You're watching a live video feed that's being broadcast to you in real time from NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer. A very special ship, the only ship in the NOAA fleet that is fully dedicated to exploration, going to places that we have never gone before, and then through this telepresence technology, streaming the video and information back to shore in real time so that both the general public can appreciate these special places and so that shore-based scientists can help with these research efforts. In addition to enjoying these imagery from some of our public viewing displays, these videos are also available over the internet, so you can stream through the
Video. Can we do a
NOAA's Office of Exploration and Research, their website at oceanexplorer.noaa.gov. And we'll be diving over the next couple weeks. So yeah, in the foreground there, that's a Polyopagon sponge, that massive one.
Good?
okay, that's good.
All right, coming out.
So yeah, everyone can enjoy this video at over the internet. There's also a mobile app that can be downloaded, so you can watch this
here, which is awkward.
video via your smartphone.
Lower my tether's already hitting my
Yeah, it's okay. Just hang
camera.
And
I'll just back
there's
up
actually
a little, spin and look at the hill.
a lot of great materials relating to this expedition, a lot of educational materials, as well as on that website, specific activities, videos, and other things, lesson plans. So for you educators, there's a lot of ways to reach out and bring this information to your students. And yeah, it's a absolutely beautiful view here of this